Yeah. So far so good. My voice is holding out. I couldn't talk or swallow last week at all. So it's thank goodness things change. Okay. When we're doing each of the levels of consciousness and getting to know the moon, well, we first think the moon is your mother. The moon is home. The moon is our sense of security. Those are sort of basic images, or the breast or the stomach. That's for men or women. It's the same. But really, it is that biopsychic link of you to your mom, or feeling when you meet someone, you feel close, or you feel secure with them, or not feel secure with them. That's your moon. It's a biopsychic type of energy. And you get an impression from someone, you remember it. If someone gives you a bad, uneasy feeling, you're going to remember it. Next time you meet them, you're not going to feel so secure with them. You're more defensive about your feelings. You're going to hold back a little bit more. You impose that memory of that insecure feeling into the future, into the present, and be disturbing the present by, because this happened before, I'm not letting it happen again. So the flaw in this is that it may not have been consciously perpetrated. So, but we all have our memories, and memories, they're almost the chains we drag with us to hit people with. If we meet people, we're going to hit them with our memories. Well, I lived here. I came from here. I have my family. I have this. These are the things. These are my memory. These are my baggage. This is my mood, my moon. My feelings of security are based on these things. This is what I bring with me. Culture, countries, left home, immigrating, all these things are involved with the moon and how secure you feel. Really, the moon is about feeling secure in the moment, right now, and being alert to everything. Because if you're alert to everything now, you have very alert memories later about what was going on right now. But the difficulty is the more intense your memories or your moods or feelings of your moon, the more they interfere with the clarity of the moment. It's like the past pulling against the future. So the sun's the future, where you're going to live, who you're going to be. The memory is, the moon is the memory, the past, where you're coming from. And here you are in the middle. I mean, we are eternally here now. We're one. Our heart, our love, our whole being is in the oneness of now. It's not in our hopes for the future. It's not in our memories of the past. Those are the karmic baggage. In India, it would be called the prarabdha karma, the karma we brought around from another lifetime, that we're still carrying with us this lifetime. We haven't learned to grow out of or come to terms with, the memories we haven't dealt with, the moods that still affect us, the insecurities and worries that still perplex us. So the moon's a very vast thing. We saw the attitudes to the moon. We saw the circumstances, how the moon can affect the houses, projecting, reacting, objective, subjective. We looked at all these things. Now we're seeing how much stress is affecting that moon, how easy or how secure or insecure. The stress will be interpreted as insecurity or worry, but it doesn't mean, just because the worry is there doesn't mean you're letting the worry run your life. But many people might choose that. Most people live in their moon more than in any other planet. They live in the past. I come from here, so it has to be like this. I come from this language, this family, this culture, and the world is screwed up if it's not relating to my culture. But really, everybody comes out of their mom. Everyone comes out of their backyard. Everyone runs into the rest of the world. And when you start running across it, there's so many different circumstances. And yet, the moon represents our daily habits, our basic habits, our eating, sleeping, and even though people all over the world come from totally different situations and poverty levels, rich levels, whatever, born into so many circumstances, we all sleep at night, we all eat breakfast if we have the money for it, or we all eat a lunch, we do some things, we eat a supper, we go to bed, we have our kids and we're trying to feed them, so it extends. But the moon includes all of these things, and our memory, so your memory, everything before this moment is a memory. It's not who you are. It's a memory of what was. So how much does your memory interfere with your being in the moment? Or how many guilts or complexes you have, they're just not allowing you to be free, to be openly open and sensitive with another person on close quarters, without words even. Hey, come on in, have a beer, let's have a smoke, whatever. Like, we're in a similar, but why not? Like that's the sharing of home or being friendly with a neighbor or something. Those are good things. But if you're at home and there's violence in the home, or there's depression or poverty in the home, and there's oppression or abuse or alcoholism or distortions, wow, like all of these factors are going to be your reminders of what happens when people get close to each other, of where you're coming from. And when you have difficult memories, your memories are going to affect your present. How do you restore innocence? How do you restore simplicity? How do you get rid of the bad memories? How do you get through it? Some horrendous memories, people don't seem to be able to get through it. It's like, yet you have to, or you end up really being caught living in the memories, and it's preventing you from going forward. Often the difficult things will push us to feel I have to go forward, I have to go forward. The moon feeds the sun, and the sun is saying, I'm going to be someone, I'm going to get out of here, I'm going to do something, so it pushes us forward. But here we are in between it in the moment. This is a really mystical thing. But it's seeing the color around silence, or the noise around silence, or we're seeing around our basic being, which always is now. I don't have memories. I'm not attached. I'm just in the moment. Yeah, what about your mom? Where's your mom? Is your mom liking you? Not liking you? Whoa, we get pulled right into our past. We're forgetting about the moment. Our concentration is being pulled in. This is the nature of the moon. And some of these memories are good, some are bad. But our memories and the patterns of our mom to us, they set up patterns of living, how we eat, how we sleep, our attitude is when we're first being born. It sets up a pattern of lifestyle and basic habits, whether we were loved or not loved or close, whether we liked being fed or our mother liked feeding us or not. All of these things came into place. Whether parents were secure or not secure, we come in, we suck it up. Then we have to grow from it. We don't have to just live in the past. Of course, we don't have to just live in the future, going for the future either, but it's very difficult to find the moment and just be here. We all have baggage in the past. We can always reflect on something and bring up the memory. And it's great for a night of telling stories, of sharing and stuff, but in the end, everybody's got their own bags of memory, their own points. How much can be sensitive? If someone's had difficult times and you've had difficult times, how could their difficult, either can be confirming to you, well, we've both been through this, oh, you know what I mean. But then if not, it's like, I've been through this, nobody's ever gonna know what I've been through, so you're there, you can't get that close. This is all moon stuff, our habits, our behavior patterns, good habits, bad habits, living habits. These are all the moon. So they're set by our mom, they're set by how when we're born, they're set by the moon, where it is, and it changes across a lifetime. But we can interact and make better or worse habit patterns. We can build up some ways of living are better than others. Some make us slower, some make us less healthy, other healthy. So we can control our day-to-day lifestyle and our moon. But how to evolve it, how to be it without interfering with being here. Usually we're caught up in some complex in the past and we don't know how to get out of it. It just keeps being imposed on the present. Okay, so that's the moon. If the moon's the moon usually relates to the lower memories, just lower thoughts. It's thinking about the past, home, body things, food, what you're going to eat, what's next, supper. This is like lower thinking. That's the moon. It has an element of thinking to it, memory, reflection. But Mercury is the planet it's a planet of alertness and making sense out of every different contact. This is here, this is there, this is the relativity. It's making sense and making up time and making relativity up of what's happening around us. So if you have a stressful aspect between the moon and Mercury, it's going to mess with your ability to think. It's going to make you get caught in your mind, can get caught, like the inner planets Moon, Mercury, Venus seem to interpenetrate each other. But really, a bad habit can affect every planet. Wrong thinking can affect every planet. Wrong values can affect every planet. But usually it's the outer planet affecting the inner. But with the Mercury, Venus, and the Moon, they run into each other a little bit more. It seems a little more insidious. But they're just normal behavioral characteristics. Oops. But the moon, when it's being affected Mercury, okay, the your ability to think, to be clear in the moment, to be alert to all the associations going on, is going to be, you're going to have trouble doing it because you got a kid crying in the next room, because your stomach's upset, because you haven't eaten well, because you're still sad over what happened yesterday, or you're still hurt from what happened when you were brought up. It's still because you had abuse at home. It affects anyone coming close to you, and it's affecting the way you're alert now and the way you think. If it affects the way you think like that, wow, that has a huge chunk of your life. Especially as you look back in memories, you can see these patterns. But it lets you set up a pattern of eating right and living right will affect it, will clear up your mind. If there's stress there, there's work to be done in that area. But usually see there's negativity there, so it'd be difficulty focusing or communicating. But it's hard to know whether you're using that stress or not using it properly. So you have to remember there's always a relationship between the moon and Mercury, between your memory and your mind. The memories are always imposing themselves on the present and the alertness and getting you to think about them. But you're always growing beyond it and adding experiences, and you can evolve your memories. You can grow out of your past. And the mind can clue into it, but sometimes it happens when you're thinking, sometimes you can't think about it and it's happening. This is like a stressful aspect between the moon and the Mercury. I mean, we're going to go through this again, but then if you put up to Venus, you're going to see what you like, what you feel, what you want, and what you need. Your moon is that in this case, Young had an easy relationship between what he needed and what he wanted. He wasn't born poor, but if it's stressful, there's going to be a lot more stress between what's satisfying, what's content, what's not, what good things you remember. Your memory is going to affect your values. Your values are going to affect your memories, and there'll be stress involved in it. So we're going to go through each planet like this, relating to each other, focusing one planet at a time. Next week we're going to do the moon and do all of them. Following we'll do Mercury, then the Venus, and just like we did with the signs, we're going to see what aspects are happening. And you're going to have your set that are happening for you, but I'm going to have to talk a little bit of each level like this, how they affect each other. And you can see what's stressful, what's not. The best, see, there's so many books on what aspects mean. The book that ended up making the most sense to me, although it was written in a time before Pluto, so his interpretations of Neptune and Pluto are a little off, but his concept of using stress, he gave stressful aspects, harmonious aspects, and conjunctions. Well, the conjunctions, I added the conjunctions to stress, but he divided it like that and just used them as stress indicators. That stress indication is so useful at any level you look at a planet. You see a planet in a sign, in a house, and you see how much stress is involved in it. How much work is it going to take to deal with it? What kind of situation did someone come from?